Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the cozy fall reading recommendation video. It is early September. Is it still 90 degrees out? Yes. But what's the best way to get into the fall mood by reading some super cozy books? So that's what this video is about today. I'm going to recommend some cozy, atmospheric, just fall vibe books that I think has helped me in the past get into the fall mood. Majority of these books are like cozy fantasy books. We have a couple of YA books, a couple middle grade, and I believe one graphic novel as well. But I think those are the best types of books because they're fast-paced. They often create very cozy vibes, and it's kind of low stakes because I feel like later down the road fall is time for bigger fantasy. I don't know, that's just me. It's kind of a weird vibe just because it's getting like wintry out. It's like the end of fall, beginning of winter is when deep, intense fantasy is what I want to read. But in the beginning of fall, when we're still kind of transitioning from like summer to fall, those like really cozy, fast-paced books I think are what are perfect getting into the mood for reading. So with that, let's get into the books. The first book is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I think I read these almost 2 years ago now. Absolutely obsessed with this series. So this follows Stevie Bell. She is kind of an act. She loves solving unsolved crimes. That's just kind of been always her thing. She's always been obsessed with it. And so when she gets a chance in a scholarship to go to this academy called Ellingham Academy, she is kind of like, this is my chance. This academy is known for, attracting students who have like a special gift. Every single one of the students there is like super talented at one specific thing. Stevie gets there and she's like, well, I'm really good at solving unsolved crimes. And everyone's like, okay, girl. But of course, this academy has a super secret past as there has been an unsolved murder as the original owner, his wife and daughter mysteriously disappeared, and the only thing that was left as a clue was a riddle that was signed by Truly Devious. And so this book follows Stevie as she starts to solve and try and figure out this unsolved crime that has been like decades, I think centuries, no one's figured out how, but it also is a kind of a coming of age like book. It is a 3-book series. I believe I have the others up there. The first 3 books definitely follow Stevie with this specific mystery. And I think she has a couple more books in the series as well. It's a super fun read, but it's also set on clues, mysterious things, and I think that's the perfect vibe for fall. Just kind of trying to figure this out with Stevie as well. I think like it's super cozy if it's raining, cup of tea, perfect vibes, trying to solve this mystery with her. I think it's perfect vibes, and it's 3 books with this storyline, but then she has other books as well following Stevie. I think Maureen is a great, fantastic YA thriller mystery writer, and I think you will just like eat this book up. It is so good. The next book is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This book actually recently just came out this year, I think a couple months ago. But this is also like, look at the cover. It is the cutest thing. It is so atmospheric. I think this maybe leans a little bit towards a summery vibes, but in my head I was like, no, it's still a cozy cottagecore type vibe. This is a cozy fantasy book. So also cozy fantasy as a genre is more low stakes than high fantasy. High fantasy, there's a lot of like politics and war and, maybe gets a little bit gory at times. When cozy fantasy genres, it's kind of like low stakes situations that they're in. I don't think anyone's going to war in these books, things like that. So it's kind of just a more easy time reading them. I feel like that there's always a time for the war times and things like that. But so this book follows Keela. She works as a librarian kind of in the city of this world, but then the city becomes under attack and she has to flee. So with her partner and like her best friend, which is a spider plant, mind you, they grab what they can, including a bunch of spell books from the library because she's obsessed with these books. Books have been her life for the past however long she's lived in the city, and now she's under attack, so she's like, it's my duty as a librarian to take these books and save them. So they take as many as they can, flee on a boat, and they go to her home island. Now, she hasn't been back to her home island in forever. She doesn't really know how they're going to feel about her. I think her parents have passed. but she kind of finds refuge there. And this story follows her kind of coming to terms with living back on this island again, the cast of characters she finds, and she decides to open up a spell shop. However, she's using the books that she illegally stole to save. In her mind, she was saving them, but I guess in someone else's mind, she illegally stole these spells to create a spell shop in this little island to help, you know, the island grow again and help give people spells because magic isn't necessarily on this island anymore. So it's a super cute vibe, the coziest cottagecore vibes you can think of. She's literally rebuilding this cottage in it as well and creating a spell shop. I don't know, I think those 3 words should sell anyone if they want the cozy vibes. Super atmospheric. Also, look at my copy, it has purple sprayed edges. Adorable. So highly, this I think is the vibes if you want to go like cottage feeling, like you're in the woods somewhere vibes. I think you would pick up this book. That's what you're going for to get into the fall season. The next book, the cover goes on similar vibes of starting a new life and trying to figure out, as well as hiding from the life that you had, is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is such another cute, cozy fantasy book. It is sapphic, and it follows Rhaena, I believe that's how you say your name. She was the queen's private guard, and Cathane, I think that's how you say your name. I'm having to look at the back to remember how to say their names, who is the most powerful mage in existence. They kind of run away together to kind of create this life together to open a tea shop. You can kind of see on the cover. Super cute. But of course, you know, it's kind of more high stakes since Rhaena was the queen's guard and she didn't really get let go to go do this. So it's them kind of establishing themselves in this new town that a lot of people is kind of weary of them being there, and then also the fact that they're going to be opening up a business in this town also puts them on the radar of some unwanted characters. So it's just following their journey of kind of restarting over, wanting to have a life together, and then the relationship as well of them as well. But super cozy vibes. They're opening a tea shop in a magical world. I don't know how much cozier we can get than that. But I know it was a really fun read, super fun vibes. Yeah, again, cozy cottage vibes, a little bit different cozy cottage vibes, but more like whimsical world, opening a tea shop, running it. I think if you liked Legends and Lattes, you'll love this book. I think it's very similar vibes to this, but with just a little bit difference to it. The next book is a super cute book that I actually recently just found. I am reading it on my Kindle right now. That is A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. This book is basically the Great British Bake Off, but make it magical creatures edition and combine them. Oh my god, I am obsessed with this. This follows our main character who is a human, and she loves to bake she would love to own her bakery one day, but she's a human. She has no magical powers, so her bakes are just from her own, you know. Meanwhile, these elves and these other magical creatures are adding magic into their, you know, bakeries, into their pastries, and so she's like, well, I can never compete with them. But she gets convinced to join this baking competition, and so it just follows her basically competing among different magical creatures. I'm obsessed with this book. I'm reading it currently, and I was like, oh my god, I have to include this because this is just the most magical time I'm having ever. It is putting me in the coziest vibes ever, especially since I believe the end of September in America we get the Great British Baking Show. So I'm excited for that too, to have that again, because it's one of my favorite shows. It is one of my best comfort shows ever, and this book is basically that in book form, just adding in magical creatures. So I'm obsessed with this book to a T. So the next book I have is Midsummer's Mayhem by Rajani LaRocca. I think that's how you say her last name. This is a young adult. Actually not even young adult. This is a middle grade book. This is the cutest book I've ever read. It also has full page photos as well. And I think when you're an adult, it's fun to read books like this. I don't know, it just You get a book that you can read super fast, so you can mark it off your TBR list. And then also, it's just a fun time at reading it. And so that's what this book is. This takes nod to Shakespeare's A Midsummer's Night's Dream, that play, and it follows our main character, Mimi. She loves to bake, and her father is actually a renowned food critic. However, one day his sense of taste starts to go away, and she's kind of like, what's going on? And then her siblings start to end up in like weird romantic entanglements, and she's like, what the heck is going on? And that's because she was drawn to the woods in her house, and she meets a boy in there, and he introduces her to a bunch of exotic ingredients, and I think that's when the mayhem starts to ensue. But it's just a super cute book. It's also just about, family, and it also follows an Indian American family and just the crazy things and antics that they get into, as the author is also tying in notes from Shakespeare's play, and you can kind of see it in here if you're familiar with it. But if you're not, I don't think it will take away from the story at all. I think it's just a very cute read. If you do have any middle grade readers in your life, I would also recommend this to them. But also, if you're any age, I would also recommend it because it is just such a fun time, and I just had a blast reading it. Cozy vibes, hidden forest, magical bakeries, baked goods. What more could you want in this time of year? So the next book is maybe the most atmospheric book that I'm recommending. I definitely went super cozy. I will have a video in the future that follows way more like dark atmospheric books for the fall, but this one is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Pornek. This is definitely, I think this is kind of a Polish folklore retelling novel, I believe, and Liszka is, she has like these magical powers, but she doesn't really, everyone in her village is like upset with her that she has these. It's kind of very frowned upon. So I believe she goes into this magical forest to find the fern flower, because I think that can either grant any wish or that can help control her magical powers, so she could just kind of be a normal person again. However, the demon warden of the wood kind of stops her in her tracks and kind of makes a deal with her, being like, I'll let you have the flower or whatever you want if you stay with me for a year in the woods. And kind of she agrees to it because she thinks this is really what she wants, and not everything is what you bargained for. So that is really all I'm going to say about this book. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. I kind of went into this book completely blind, and I think that was the best way to go, to kind of completely take in that atmospheric world that this book takes you in. A super cozy ride, but also a whimsical kind of atmospheric ride that completely got me in the mood for fall. I read this still kind of in the summer, and I wish I waited till this time to read it. So that's why I'm recommending it to you guys, to read it now to get you in the mood. And I mean, the cover, come on, it's gorgeous. So I am so excited to see if you guys read this book or not, but definitely put it on your fall list. And the final book I have to recommend is Mooncakes, which is a super cute graphic novel. It follows Nova, who is a witch, and she, I think, believes in her grandmother's kind of a witch shop. And then one night there is reports of this kind of werewolf sighting, and she goes and investigates, and she actually finds that it is her childhood crush Tam, and they kind of rekindle a friendship and a budding love romance as well. And it kind of is them coming together and also trying to find out who is trying to take away the magic from the werewolves, and Tam is a werewolf, obviously. So it's literally a super cute sapphic romance that involves like witches and werewolves. I mean, like, if that wouldn't get you in the spooky fall season, I don't know what will. It's a blast reading this novel. The illustration style is so beautiful, and I think anyone would super enjoy this book. So with that is my super cozy fall reading list for you guys. I hope some of you thought this was super helpful, and I hope I added some books to your TBR so you can start your cozy fall season off right. And with that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye!